girl Kayla, back with another video. So today I just kind of wanted to address what spirituality looks like and what spiritual awakening looks like. Kind of to give you a nice understandable, I just made up a word. An easy answer for that. It looks like whatever the fuck you want it to, okay? A lot of times, people will think that, spirituality, has to be you doing shadow work 7 days a week for, years on end. And some people think that spirituality may be, just playing around with crystals and tarot cards all day. For some people, that's what it looks like. And for other people, it's other things. What I don't think that people emphasize enough is that spirituality is very individual. It is going to look different for every last single one of us in terms of what we like to do. It's not going to be completely different in terms of what our gifts are. How we use our gifts to serve the world may be different. The journey isn't going to be the same for everybody, because if spirit wanted us all to be the same, we'd all be robots. We're not. We're all here to complete our own missions, to do our own thing, to help uplift humanity. Nothing in this journey has to look a specific way. So just keep that in mind and be very wary of anybody who is telling you that, oh, you aren't spiritual if you don't do this, and you aren't spiritual if you don't do that. I mean, people will, support. I really want to say something. Nope, I'm going to say that shit. That's working on that throat chakra. People will, supported priests and Catholics in the Catholic Church for how long before they realized what was going on? Okay. So yeah, sometimes, people will try to make you think that it is a straight and narrow path, and it absolutely is not. Now, a question that I get a lot is, what does spiritual awakening look like? When I tell you how that differs can differ just as much as your path, ciao, I'm not playing. So my spiritual awakening, I really wish that I could explain this enough for you guys so that it makes perfect sense. But to be perfectly honest, I don't even know if I can do that. There are more parts than others of the initial awakening that I remember. But also, let me throw this out here. I remember when I was younger, my mother used to tell me all the time that I was an old soul. And it would just be like, you're an old soul. We would be talking about something, and I would say or respond to something, and she would just shake her head like, child, you've been here before. This is not your first rodeo. And I don't know why, but that always stuck with me up until adulthood. I think it was also because I know how serious I am sometimes. So I'm just like, why don't I act like most people my age? I'm different. Yeah, I'm different. Pull up to the scene, but my silly missing. I don't even know if that's how the song goes. But y'all get what I'm going. I've always known that one of these things is not like the other. So fast forward, I actually started my awakening pretty late. I was mid-30s. Well, once again, we're not going to put a judgment on that. There is no proper time to awaken. So yes, I started my spiritual awakening in my 30s, even though I had already known that I was very intuitive. There were just events in my life that had taken place, and yeah, my intuition usually went off beforehand. So I was aware of the gifts. I wasn't necessarily aware of how powerful the gifts could be, what I was supposed to be doing with them, the fact that everybody had them. None of that really registered to me. I want to say, it was Jim Carrey. That's right. Okay. So it's coming back to me now. It's coming back. My spiritual awakening started with Jim Carrey. If you guys remember, I want to say, I don't even remember how long ago it was, but there was a red carpet incident that Jim Carrey had attended. And don't mind me looking back and forth, y'all. I'm trying to drive. Multitasking. There was a red carpet event that Jim Carrey had attended. And And while he was at this event, he was getting questioned by one of the news media people there, whatever you want to call her. I don't know. But he was just saying how none of it was real. It was all just an illusion and, you know, all kinds of things. And, you know, her reaction is just kind of like, what is this guy talking about? But I happened to go on Twitter that day and I came across this one comment, and it happened to be from a guy. And he was like, oh, now that Jim Carrey's speaking some truth, you guys want to call him crazy. And, you know, me being the Libra I am, you know, we're very thought-based. Like, we will think the shit out of a problem. So when I had read that he put that, I was curious, like, well, what does he mean? So yeah, that was when I started going down the rabbit hole. Now, I think because then it wasn't, you know, necessarily like, oh, I found out this little bit of information, so let me keep going. And it wasn't quite like that. It was more like, oh, you know, there's this little tidbit of information that I just got. Okay, I'm going to sit with that for a little bit. And so I did. And I think it was like a very slow process after that, because that's not where my focus was. And honestly, now thinking back, I really can't tell you where my focus was. I just knew that it wasn't on spiritual awakening. Like I had no idea about any of it. Like it wasn't something that had been brought to the forefront for me. What really did it though, it was, I kept coming across this documentary that was on Hulu. They have since taken it off because it was on there quite some time ago. But it kept coming across my home screen as a suggested video, which I guess I kind of understood why it was a suggested video, because it was a documentary and I love to watch documentaries, and Hulu clearly knows that about me. And I don't know why, but I was just kind of really resistant. It would pop up and I just kind of dismiss it. And I guess finally my spirit team was just like, bitch, watch the damn movie. So I finally did. And when I tell you, by the end of it, I mean, that documentary couldn't have been more than maybe an hour and a half tops. And by the end of it, I was just sitting there like, what the entire fuck? I mean, like, and I really, really need to find out what the name of this documentary is and see if maybe that, you know, I could find it and show it to other people that I tried to get to explain. I don't know why, but it was almost like that documentary in itself was a download, and everything after that just clicked. It was so weird. That very next day I went to work, and on my lunch breaks, I would just go and walk downtown, because I worked at a courthouse, and so we would be downtown, and most of the time I didn't want to eat, and so I would just go walking around, you know, the area downtown. And I swear that day it was like I was in a whole new world. The sky was bluer, the trees were greener. It was like, even just thinking back to it, I'm just kind of amazed. I mean, it was amazing, but it also made me mad at the same time. Because here it was, I had spent 30 some odd years being taught, this is life, this is what you need to learn, this is what it's really about, and then you find out something totally different, and you're like, fuck, like now I gotta basically relearn what this shit is all over again. And I was super, super frustrated. But also, you know, that intellectual side of me was just like, I really want to know what the fuck this is about. Like, what am I being lied to? You know, what really is the truth? How am I supposed to function in this world? And so, I mean, I've just been going down this rabbit hole nonstop, especially once I get, you know, a little bit of information. Like, I really can't help but to just want, oh, I'm so spiritual until I get behind the wheel of a car. But yeah, I mean, I still find myself getting frustrated to this day because there are so many things I don't know about. And, you know, when you're new to this journey, if you happen to be newer to this journey, that's why I call rabbit hole. I mean, that shit is just whoop, just straight down. I mean, and it's like a never-ending rabbit hole either. So, you know, don't ever let anybody try to make you feel like this spirituality journey has an end date, like you should have it all figured out by this time. And just do you, while knowing that you're serving a purpose, and also knowing that you're here for a reason. It could be a reason to help the collective. And when myself, and you'll hear other content creators say collective, it's just all of us, conscious community. You're either here to help the collective or you're here for your own soul's evolution. Only you'll know why that is. So that would be something that you would have to find out. But yeah, I just kind of wanted to make a video touching on that. I don't get caught up in, oh, this person said this and this person said that, because when I tell y'all at the beginning of my journey, like, that was my downfall, is I was just listening to so many people on what their take was on spirituality, as opposed to just kind of going inside and figuring it out for myself, or talking to an astrologer. There's always that option too. So that's all I have for you guys today. If you're interested in any spiritual Divine Feminine coaching services, let me know. You can email me at divinefemrising11@gmail.com. And until the next video, see you later, loves. Bye.